Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And welcome to the Main Street Cinema, the show where we discuss the finer points of filmmaking. And Dragon, you and I just got out of seeing a very highly anticipated movie of the year. What do you think of Bad Moms Christmas, Dragon?
I don't think it measured up to the heights of the first Bad Moms.
Hey, the first Bad Moms was kind of fun. All right. No, seriously, folks. I'm reusing this joke 2 times in a row. We just got out of Thor Ragnarok. Dragon, you got out of it, what, like a couple hours ago, maybe? I'm guessing.
Yes.
Okay, and I got out of it maybe like about a half hour ago, roughly. So we haven't really, Dragon kind of saw my ranking, so he knows I'm pretty high on it. But, Dragon, your thoughts walking out of the theater? What do you think of this one?
I was very happy with it.
Yeah, and of course, folks, this is going to be our spoiler-free first impressions. We're going to be doing a spoiler cast on Sunday, and guess who's going to be joining us for that spoiler cast, Dragon? Even you don't know this.
I don't know this. Who?
Jacob Gulliver is going to be joining us.
Yes!
The cards have aligned.
Huzzah!
so
yeah,
look for that, folks. That'll be a lot of fun. Oh man, Dragon. I was very satisfied with this movie, folks. Just for the record, just to show where we are in terms of my rankings of Marvel movies. So yeah, Ragnarok sitting pretty right at number 4. I mean, I'm pretty high on this one. Dragon, I think this is probably, for my money, the Marvel movie that feels like it has the director stamp all over it more than any other Marvel movie. Like, this is a Taika Waititi movie, like, through and through. Like, you can just feel the director stamp oozing off this movie.
Oh, yeah. I'm not really familiar with his work, but it definitely feels like it's distinct to a director. It feels, it's different than the other Thor movies. It's honestly, if you look at it, all the Thor movies are kind of, they're distinctly different in many respects. Because the first one essentially it's done by Kenneth Branagh.
The Dark World's different because it's distinctly mediocre.
Well, yeah, but again, I placed most of that of the one.
No, but, seriously, this kicks Dark World to the curb, man. I mean, forget all the negativity. Like, Dark World's not a bad movie. It's a passable movie, but this is I don't want to say it's quite as on point as Guardians Volume 2 was, Dragon. Of course, you and I both loved Guardians Volume 2. I don't think everyone loved Guardians Volume 2. Lindsay Ellis did a video essay about Guardians Volume 2 that kind of illustrated a lot of the points that made me love that movie from at least an emotional point of view. So if you want to know more about why I think Guardians Volume 2 is probably the best film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, at least in my opinion, I'd refer you to Lindsay Ellis's video. She probably says the points that I would make, but much more eloquently. But, I mean, Dragon, oh, man, look, I don't want to get back into the Homecoming thing, but this kicks Homecoming's ass. This is so much better than Homecoming on so many levels.
Let me just make this point, the fair point for all 3 of the movies we've gotten this year. Not even lumping in Logan. I'm just focusing on the Marvel-centric.
Well, Logan arguably might be better. I think, inarguably, Logan might be better than all 3 of them.
Well, sure, but again, it's focusing on the Marvel Studios pictures we've had released this year. They're all very strong. They're all very distinct. And none of them are kind of the same type of movie. They're all very kind of a. Of course, Spider-Man: Homecoming, of course, is the big reintroduction to Spider-Man. It's very much kind of in the John Hughesian kind of view on. Mm-hmm. It's a teen movie for Spider-Man. It's very, very distinct. And of course, this is just kind of Ragnarok is the big bombastic kind of Flash Gordon adventure that we
absolutely.
And of course, Guardians is kind of the emotional sequel that, of course, is just kind of it's a James Gunn movie. It's a James Gunn movie on the big screen, but
you put it right, Dragon. Guardians is just like it hit all the right notes for me in terms of like what a sequel should do with its characters.
It's a great indie sequel, but
Volume 2 is just pure art, just pure like one of the most tear-jerking things I've ever seen in a comic book movie.
It honestly just feels like it's a James Gunn indie movie, but with but you know, as a
But
major
no, it's funny
property,
that this feels like something like what we do in the Shadows Dragon, which I'm a big fan of. You know, except with a big budget. You know what I mean? That's exactly what this movie feels like as well.
And for me, this movie, honestly, what I really like come down this movie with is that it feels like a good mix of elements we've gotten from the other two Thor movies. It has the drama and majesty of Asgard, you know, with the Asgard as well as the kind of the dynamics here and there. Basically, all the stuff on Asgard feels very much from the first Thor movie, which is the big high point of the first Thor movie in many respects. And also we have a lot of humor. We have a lot of humor and spectacle from the Dark World, which we also have here. And we have a lot of original stuff as well. I'm just saying.
But we don't have any of the stuff dragging the original two Thor movies down. Mainly,
exactly.
Mainly Portman and Dennings. I mean, let's be honest. You know, no one misses Portman or Dennings.
my point is, you know, we were learning as we go.
I do kind of miss Skarsgård, though. I will say that. I kind of miss Skarsgård. Anyways, go ahead. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, I also miss Skarsgård. My point is, you know, it feels like it's a learning experience as these films have gone on. By the third attempt, you know, we've kind of we found the winning formula with Thor. But again, it's not repeating itself. It's
Dragon, can I just say this? I don't think this is just the winning formula for a Thor movie. I think this is absolutely the winning formula for an MCU team-up movie.
Yeah, because not only do we have, you know, we have a cool villain, there's no fear whatsoever in tackling this because we're so deep into it at this point we can get away with anything, as if the other two films have not just kind of demonstrated that enough. You know, the other two films we got this year alone, you know, we go to all these exciting locations. We're able to do things that comic fans have been dreaming about, and it's such a great kind of all these events coming together finally.
Mm-hmm. So I think if you want to just kind of quickly go character by character, as spoiler free as we can.
If you want to take it that way.
Hit some beats on it. All right. So, I mean, I'm just saying, you know, as spoiler free as we can, meaning just, you know, hit some quick beats on each one. So, you know, Thor himself is definitely, you know, he's come a long way since the first movie.
Oh, yeah. I really love I think Hemsworth really brings it in this movie. I think he brings great humor as well as what I really loved in this movie, and I love that they carried this over from Thor: The Dark World. We have these great kind of little moments with Thor. As much, you know, we have constantly with Thor, we have the fish out of water gag. You know, basically, Thor is like he's this bigger than life character, and we're all kind of looking at him like an eye chart sometimes, but we're just, you know, marveling at him. We're just like, oh my God, he's so bigger than life, always so lovable in day-to-day life. Oh. Ain't he precious? Mm-hmm. But what's great, some moments we have like mainly the Thor and Loki scenes. They kind of capture what I really loved in Thor: Dark World. The scenes between the brothers, they're really heartfelt, really genuine. I think Hemsworth, I love how he kind of brings that balance in the performance. He gets to really stretch. He gets to bring Thor all kinds of places, and there's like this internal conflict that is persisting through Thor's arc, despite it being kind of a buddy movie.
Yeah, for sure.
I like that it's not all the whole movie isn't a buddy movie, but I like that, you know, we have a section that is a buddy movie, and
well, I like how we build to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like waiting for the Hulk to enter this movie feels like waiting for the genie to enter Aladdin. It's like we've got a lot of exciting stuff leading up to it.
Yes, and impressively, and we're still invested even before the Hulk enters.
Sure. Okay, so do you want to go to Loki or the Hulk?
Yeah, let's go Loki. Okay. Yes, let's go Loki.
Yeah, I really, this might be the second best Loki we've had since the Avengers, and this might even be better than the Avengers for me. Loki is he's really great. Like he's both kind of pathetic in certain scenes and, you know, cowardly, but in other scenes he's kind of like a you know, a Yondu style like rebel badass. You know what I mean? He kind of runs the gauntlet. He kind of reminds me of Vegeta in that way.
Yeah, there's definitely a Vegeta-esque quality to Loki in this time around, because, you know, it's establishing, yeah, he and Thor famously have not gotten along, and, you know, they've bickered like brothers, but at the same time there is that camaraderie and there is that familial tie. And what I really like with it is that, you know, it's kind of, we reached the point where, you know, the brothers kind of know each other like a book at this point.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very much like late season Dragon Ball Z, you know, where Goku's like, all right, Vegeta, I know you're going to try and go behind my back, Kakarot. I would never do such a thing.
Well, I mean, obviously, it's not really a spoiler because again, it's very obvious going in the movie that so Thor's going to find out that Loki is in fact not Odin.
I love how that's played, by the way.
I know. We can't give too much away.
Of course. Yeah.
But let's just say that it's pretty safe to assume everyone's going to know that. Okay, we're going to find out that
it's kind of like a dangling plot thread we need to deal with at the beginning of the movie. Yeah.
Yes, and mainly the fact that Loki was indeed alive since we last left him from Thor: The Dark World. Hence, kind of how he slipped in as king. And the fact that there's this great. I'll say this much. I mean, it's a good scene. We'll kind of lead you through the entire thing. Let's just say it was a nice little scene. They kind of say to each other, you and I know each other like a book. I mean, you're as much as you. I know there might be good and deep within you, but we're just going to keep flip flopping back and forth. And at the end of the day, we're going to be who we truly are, and we just got to accept that and then kind of roll with that. And it's a really nice scene between the brothers. One of my favorite scenes, actually. And just based on that, it was really interesting that we're not repeating what we do with Loki. Every time we got kind of a different shade of Loki. We had kind of the origin of Loki and Thor, obviously. We have kind of the classic, kind of the supervillain Loki with the Avengers. Of course, has the cowardliness and the menace. And Dark World is just kind of the fun buddy cop, kind of the buddy movie Loki. And in this case, this is just kind of a Loki of various colors. He was kind of a combination of those previous Lokis. But again, a guy who's now
sort of him like taking all the previous incarnations of him and then kind of wrapping them into something new, like a new identity for himself.
Yeah, again, Loki's just kind of finding, just the fact that he pretend to be Odin is the fact that Loki really has no grand designs outside of Asgard. And let's just say, this film, he's definitely kind of looking for purpose a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's move on to the big guy then.
Yes.
Oh, God, folks, I don't want to give too much away, but Hulk was freaking perfect in this movie. Just pitch perfect all the way through. Just 10 out of 10. I loved it.
Oh, yeah. I will say this much, and this is very speculatory, and again, we weren't entirely sure, but we do know what planet they're on. Tiki, mind if I say what planet we're on?
Are you asking me?
Well, I'm asking you if I can tell the folks that don't know what the name of the planet
is. I kind of feel like that was a reveal for me in the theater, so I kind of don't want to spoil the reveal.
All right, fine. Let's just say the Grandmaster's planet is great.
Oh yeah. And of course, we've got a couple characters from Planet Hulk. Dragon, I don't mind spoiling this much. Okay, we got Meek.
Oh, sure, you don't mind spoiling that, but I can't say the name of the darn place.
All right, fine. Say the name of the darn place.
Sakaar!
Yeah, Sakaar and Meek, Planet Hulk cameos, folks. I hope you're not too spoiled with us saying that. Now I feel bad.
Yep.
I couldn't hold my excitement about Meek.
Yep. And we have a couple basically Tiki and I's favorite characters from Planet Hulk do show up in this movie.
Yes, although in a very different form.
Yes, that's true. But they're both characterized very differently. But hey, they showed up.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
And they were fun. They were still fun.
But yeah, as I said, folks, I mean, we'll get deep into the Hulk stuff with the spoiler cast. But this suffice to say, I freaking loved every moment of it. It was wonderful.
They did capture some memorable moments from Planet Hulk, as well as again those familiar favorites.
Okay, should we get into Hela?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
All right, this was an interesting one, Dragon. Like I feel like Cate Blanchett definitely acted her heart out, right? And she's a class act. Of course, she's going to do great in anything she's in. My problem is I feel like her storyline was a little disconnected from the rest of the movie. I kind
of see that point. I feel like honestly both of our bad guys with Hela and not Ken the Grandmaster. I was sorry, I meant not the Grandmaster, but our other villain with Hela, specifically Hela and the Executioner.
Oh, okay, right.
Yes. Those two characters felt, to a certain extent, underutilized. Now, again, Hela was still a presence, and she represented a grander idea. Now, the executioner, though, I'll say that much about him is that Karl Urban again, he
They
looks
kind of
great.
wasted Karl Urban a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. Is the executioner? He's
I mean, you have Karl Urban in the MCU, man, like Judge Dredd himself. Come on.
Yeah, also I really like Karl Urban. Honestly, he was one of my Batman picks back when they were kind of looking.
Oh yeah,
for
he would have been a great Batman. Yeah.
He was one of my go-tos before they wanted the Dark Knight Returns era Batman.
It's not that the Hela stuff is bad. Like I said, it's just like kind of structurally within the film, we just keep wanting to cut back to the Thor stuff, of course, because it's kind of what we paid our ticket to see. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm sure I'm sure the Hela stuff might hold up for me a bit more on a rewatch, which I definitely intend to get.
I mean, Hela does have a cool backstory.
She does
illuminate some really interesting stuff about Asgard. So I mean, she's got a lot of. Again, she is not one iota bad in this film. She's fantastic. And
right. Yeah, Kate Blanchett herself is great. I just think the way that the character was utilized within the structure of the film was a little off. Like, it was probably a weak point of the film, in my opinion. Okay, so should we talk about the other villain?
Well, again, just one thing. The weak point, by definition, again, it's a compelling villain, but not.
I'm saying the way she's integrated in is a weak point, not her herself.
I was saying, considering all the Thor the Dark World stuff, I just want to make that point clear.
Oh God, no! No! Okay, yeah. Let's make this point clear. Absolutely clear. Oh, she is. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Malekith.
Oh God, compared to Malekith, she is Kingpin and Purple Man rolled into one. I mean,
and then look, with the executioner, at least he's fun. I mean, he's cool. I just wanted more with him. All right. So, I want to make clear, all our villains are fine in this movie. They're all great. They're all fine.
Having said that, Dragon, man, Goldblum totally steals the show.
Oh yes.
Oh God. I honestly think Goldblum is a better villain in this movie than Blanchett. I hate saying that because Blanchett is like the serious force, whereas Goldblum is kind of more the joke antagonist. But he's delicious, and I'm so happy with the amount of screen time he got. I'm so happy that they just unleashed him and just let him be he dialed his Goldblum up to 11. It works so well.
I'm trying to think if I can spoil one of the Goldblumisms, which is hysterical. Let's see. There is a pause unlike any other pause.
That's what I'm saying. He's in full pause mode. It's
I'm saying, Tiki, this is like the king of all pauses. I don't know. You're the bigger Goldblum aficionado than myself, because I pretty much know him from two of the Jurassic Park films, as well as some other stuff I've seen, but I don't know.
To be fair, I haven't seen him in a ton outside of Jurassic Park. I'm not the biggest Goldblum guy either outside of that. So
let's see. It's like he has this pause. Basically, he's talking to, I want to say, he's on the Loki and Valkyrie, and basically there's this, he kind of gives this grand. He's saying something, and he just kind of stops mid sentence, and of course we're waiting for the other end of it to drop, and he doesn't finish the sentence. He takes a pause and just, all right, it's the whole, if I were on Earth, I would be thousands of years old, and here.
Right here, so many uhs, Dragon. So many uhs. It's like he watched the Rob Walker video on his impression.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I guess the last major character to get to. I really don't want to talk about Heimdall all that much because I feel like pretty much his whole role is kind of spoiler territory.
Again, Valkyrie. I mean, she's a biggie.
That's what I was getting to, Dragon. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So yes, Valkyrie was a huge, pleasant surprise for me. I mean, I'd heard good things going in, and yeah, she definitely did disappoint. I mean, in a year of very strong, females on superhero shows, like from Jessica Jones to Wonder Woman and whatnot, she is definitely in that league, Dragon. She really kicked a lot of ass this movie.
Oh yeah. Believe me, you don't want to mess with the Valkyries in Asgard. You really don't. And of course, she has a really great backstory, which we won't get into. She has a really cool backstory, and kind of the execution of said backstory is also really neat. She's really interesting, layered character with a lot of interesting motivation. I'd love to see more of her, which I hope the way the judge the way the Infinity War is going. Bear in mind, like we're always operating on like changing information with that, because going back to like the whole when it was 2 movies, there was that whole we're gonna have at least like 60 plus Marvel characters in this movie, which implies a lot of the characters we get in this movie would be in that film.
Right.
Again, the jury's out. Plus, I mean, there was the whole like if it was 2 movies, maybe we got our Netflix guys in on the action. But I don't know.
I don't think our Netflix guys are.
I'm just saying, if it was 2 movies, I think we'd have a better shot at
it. Maybe Phase 4.
It better be Phase 4. Darn
it. Anyway,
either that or give me Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Son of a. Anyway.
Oh, all right, don't get upset, Dragon. This is an awesome movie. There's no upset. Oh man. Anyway. So, folks, yeah, just long story short, you will not be disappointed in this movie, one iota. It's certainly a crowd pleaser. In terms of like the best movies of the year, like I said, I still think Logan is probably better, and I also think Volume 2, Guardians Volume 2, is maybe better. So I'd say this probably ranges like just outside or maybe like just inside of my top 10, depending on where I put it. So it might not be a contender for top 10. I'd say it'll definitely end up in my top 20 of the year. But as far as MCU movies go, this is definitely in my top 5 for sure. So, all right, Dragon, final thoughts on your end?
It is a film you don't have without Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's making the most out of the MCU, particularly the kind of the side of the MCU we don't see outside of the Guardians films, and it's a blast. We go all over the place outside of Asgard, but even with Asgard, we get to kind of explore new facets of it. It's a great film. I think, honestly, out of the Marvel films this year, again, I gotta go back to the drawing board. Even lumping Logan with it. Again, Logan's kind of a beast of a different color. And again, let's just for simplicity's sake look at the MCU films. I think I had the best time with this out of the 3. I loved them all. I had a different experience with each of them. I loved them all. This one, I think I had like the Brooklyn Nine-Nine effect here, where I was like, I was laughing or invested the whole way through, and I was just having such a it was just such a relentlessly good time. It was a blast. The other ones was a continued good time with Guardians, and of course, again, taking us to new areas with that. And with Spider-Man, it's just like, again, it's the joy of seeing Spider-Man finally a part of the MCU. So again, different experience with each. But this one was just like, okay, now we're clicking back into where we're lining some things up, and we're adapting some famous imagery. We're also having some fun cameos. Of course, Stan Lee.
This is definitely like top 5 Stan Lee cameo material. Oh man,
it's we can't spoil it, folks. Let's just say
you don't want it spoiled for you.
He's got a very unique cameo that does have some plot. That has some plot relevance, to say the least. To say the least. Again, I think Hemsworth he really delivers in this film. Ruffalo as well. Yeah, everyone delivered in this film.
Ruffalo kills the motion capture in this one.
Absolutely. So it's a great film. Again, it's kind of mixing the best elements from the Thor films to kind of deliver on something just kind of unlike any of the other Thor films. It's kind of unlike a lot of the other MCU films in many respects. It's kind of a beast of a different color, and it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend everyone check it out. I think you'll all love Thor. I think you'll all love Thor Ragnarok.
It's I'd say it's a fantastic movie, and you should definitely give it your time.